The job of a state legislator is not an easy one or one for the faint of heart. In addition to election campaigns, there's a lot of time spent connecting with constituents and answering their questions. And then comes the work of drafting or reviewing proposed legislation, modifying it and getting it passed through both chambers of the State House. And this year, with the legislature working remotely, it's arguably even more complex. That's where having assistants or legislative aides to help with some of the work is a big help. Representative Joy Sullivan, who represents the district that includes the towns of Dorset, Danby, Mount Tabor, Peru, and Landgrove, introduced us to three of her aides who are working with her this year. One is currently a student from Dorset who is attending Burton Academy. Another is a former student of BBA from Manchester, and a third is a political science major currently attending the University of Vermont. Together in a recent Zoom conversation, they gave us some insights into what the experience is like. I guess why don't we just go around our Zoom room here, and we'll start with you, Julia. Tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you wound up being a legislative aide in Vermont.
Oh, hi, I'm Julia Brand. I'm a junior at Burton Academy. I live in Dorset. Last year I took an AP Gov class, and towards the end of the class, we had a final that we got to research anything we were passionate about. And I'm super passionate about domestic violence and women's issues. And I reached out to Representative Sullivan, and she was so supportive and so welcoming. And she offered me a position as a legislative aide, and I took it as a great opportunity.
So I've lived in Vermont for most of my life. I'm back here from college because of the pandemic. And I became a legislative aide in November 2019, and I just pretty much did the email version of like cold calling, where I just emailed Representative Sullivan and said, "Hi, could I work with you? I really like your work." And then we met at the Dorset Bakery. She bought me a chai tea latte, and I have absolutely adored working with her ever since.
It's actually part of a class at UVM. I'm a poli-sci major at UVM, and they have a legislative internship class, and I was assigned Representative Sullivan. But yeah, I feel really lucky that I was assigned with her because I really love her work. And yeah, and I'm sorry if it's loud. I'm on campus right now.
Representative Sullivan, let me turn to you now for a second. How many resumes or communications of one sort or another do you get from people who would like to be a legislative aide?
So actually, I do get resumes and I do get emails. I've been working with interns and legislative aides for many, many years, whether it be as a legislator or in my own profession. And these women are dynamic. These women are so sensible and so passionate, but inarticulate. And they were so eager to jump in on any of the issues because, I go the gamut from, the real hardcore financial number crunching to the social issues. And they understood that, it might not be just the bleeding heart stuff that we're going to do, helping the people all the time. Everything is going to help the people, but sometimes you have to do the tough stuff. And they all were just right there. And every single assignment that I've given them so far made me so proud that these three chose me.
Tell us a little bit about your roles and your jobs and daily responsibilities. Do you sort of divide up tasks and kind of stick to the same basic things, or do you wind up doing a little bit of everything that, at some point in the week or another?
I would say my role is just basically completing any projects Representative Sullivan needs me to do. I've done spreadsheets that organize past legislation or current legislation. I've helped with reporter questions and just basically like any mini projects she needs me to complete, I'll do.
I do a little bit of everything. Recently, I've been working a lot on the different pension reform bills that are currently working in the works, and I've just kind of been doing research on that. I've been writing my own memo about that. And then I guess I didn't have an official title. I ended up being the social media manager when Representative Sullivan ran for auditor. And I have to say, doing that, like being part of that campaign, was one of the most fulfilling experiences of my life, and working with the entire team was amazing.
Similar to Julia and Olivia, I'll do whatever Representative Sullivan gives me, but right now I'm tracking bills with like GovTrack, and especially on the Vermont General Assembly website, to compare to H193, which is the human trafficking bill, just to see how other states are handling stuff like this. And I'm just tracking bills as they go through committee.
So I'm assuming you're all working remotely. Would that be correct?
I actually haven't been to a legislative building since I was like in 6th grade or something. And I would be super excited to go there once, vaccine rollout is complete and it's safe again. It sounds like an incredible opportunity from what I've heard from different legislatures. But mostly I've always done my work remotely because I go to school in Massachusetts. I just sometimes like casually like break into Representative Sullivan's office in town to steal paper clips or something. That's mostly the office work I end up doing. But we have really great email chains, and I love looking back at all the work we do because it's actually a record of it, and I actually find that quite fulfilling.
So the pandemic has definitely, it's put most of my stuff online, and I'm not a huge fan of that, but I can't really compare it to anything considering I don't know what it would be like if I had to go to Montpelier. But I think I would gain a lot more if I was in person, but that could be said for anything. But since I am in a class, I do get to interact with other legislative aides and other legislative interns and figure out what other representatives are doing through other students in my class. So I think I have that benefit.
So Andrew, they in January, hopefully, they will be allowed to come back up there. They've already gotten clearance to be able to come up once we're done with the COVID issues. But they are also interacting not just with legislative aides, they're all interacting with based on their projects. Like Mallory could tell you about her interaction with the judicial team, and Olivia with doing her research and the Department of Financial Regulation, and Julia has an exciting application out there, so you might want to ask them where this is all leading them with their interactions.
Well, you anticipated my next question. I was going to say, what are some of the areas you're all most interested in or find most intriguing? And I guess, Mallory, we'll come back to you then with the, you're involved in judicial questions?
Yeah, so I spoke to Chief Justice. We just spoke about law school. It was a very casual conversation. I want to go on to law after undergrad, and they were really helpful, and they fielded my questions, like no matter how stupid they were, they fielded them, and I really appreciated that. So that was a great networking opportunity for me, and I was really grateful for that.
Yeah, so mostly I've just been calling a huge variety of agencies to try and figure out what everyone's planning to do regarding the public pension issue. And it takes, a lot of perseverance, but luckily this is a small state where the people in office do actually care about the people calling them. So I'm just glad I'm not randomly calling these people living in a state like California, because in Vermont, I do actually feel heard when I'm requesting information. So yeah, it's been good.
I applied to the Children and Family Council for Prevention Programs, and Representative Sullivan gave me contacts to reach out to multiple individuals who are on the council, and I actually might be finding out today if I'm allowed to kind of swoop in. But I've been going to some Zoom meetings and kind of just giving some input from a student perspective, and it's been absolutely amazing. And I wouldn't have been able to done it without Representative Sullivan, so I'm so grateful for that.
Becoming a legislative aide is a great way to get an inside look at the political process and how it works. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.